May the gods keep the wolves in the hills and the women in our beds.
Hey! Is this heaven? No. It's Iowa.
Well, hello, sexy monkeys. Welcome back to Sky Gene Experience. I'm Ben. Today I'm doing episode 1 review of 1883. I did an episode about everything you need to know leading up to this. So before watching this, of all genres, Westerns was really not my favorite. But I do enjoy Westerns, but it's just not up there. But I'm telling you, after watching 1883, it made me just want to go watch every Western I can find. Seriously, I absolutely love this. It made me a huge Western fan. I like these episodes. They're literally like an hour or some long. They're amazing. This one is an hour and 7 minutes long. Wow, and they really get going. I will admit there's one thing better about this than there's Yellowstone, because there's a lot of debates. Is 1883 and Yellowstone, which one's better? I'm telling you, this really does put up the argument. And I'll do that argument at the very end when I do the whole thing review. But right now, what was I going to fucking say? Oh, I hate when I lose my fucking thought. Oh yeah, that's what it was. The music, the opening intro of the music, hands down, this is better than Yellowstone. I'm not a fan of the Yellowstone intro music. It just doesn't. This really, the theme for this, unbelievable, amazing music. The orchestra, love it. What makes this different was at the very, like at the end of an episode, they would show you like a little clip of what's gonna be next. They did not do this with this. You got done with that episode, it was done. You didn't see no sneak peeks of the following week. I enjoyed that, but that threw me off because the very last episode, I didn't know it was the last episode. I'm watching it, and before I know it, it's like, why is someone doing their goodbyes? And I was so caught off guard. I'll talk more about that episode 10, but this is episode 1. As you imagine, with every pilot, it's all about introducing to the characters, and the characters coming together and characters meeting each other. So you really get to discover them the way they're being discovered also. When the episode starts, I'm telling you guys, wow. You get to see some images of the West, like within the first minute, and it's hard to watch, and it's just a straight gut to the punch. But you need that to really, it shows you that throughout this whole 10 episodes, you're going to see some stuff that you probably didn't think you were going to see. And it's also great because it's telling you that it's not really much of a flashback, but it's a flash forward. Because at some point, what you're watching the very first 5 minutes is something that you're going to see probably like in episode 7 or 8. So throughout the whole time, you're like, is this the episode? Is this the episode? It's one of those. So it's not much of a spoiler. I mean, everyone really knows this. It's kind of his character. But Shay, which is played by Sam Elliott, you first see him at his house with his wife and daughter. They're killed by smallpox. And that's the last straw. I mean, he dealt with Civil War. And now his family's dead. So he burns the house down to cremate the family. And all Shay wants to do, Sam Elliott, all he wants to do, his character, is go from Fort Worth, Texas to Oregon. That's it. Nothing else. And you see later on in this, his buddy Thomas, he plays the black cowboy of the era. Because there is black cowboys, some really famous ones that we just have not heard of yet. And he's playing one of those. A fictional character, but still. And it's great because these guys are buddies from Civil War. They've been together for the last 20 years, and they fought in the war together. So the last 20 years, you have this buddy duo combo, and it's adorable. Because we all have those best friends, And you really see that in this. If you ever watched the movie A Thousand Ways to Die in the West, take that element and add it to this, but take out the comedy. Seriously. Yeah, brain fart. So yeah, it really tells you that you can die a lot of ways, in ways you never really thought of. So you really have to be careful with every step you take and every drink you take. They show Fort Worth, Texas the way it was back in 1883, and it's really cool because that set design, amazing. It took them like 2 months of prep to do that for a 4-day shoot. Hollywood! You deal with the theme of suicide, because you have one character, I won't say who, person wants to kill themselves, and you do see a lot of that throughout this whole 10 episodes of suicide, and people how they deal with it, and some do, some don't, and it's part of what it was back then. You get to see some badass shootout with Tim McGraw. When you first see Tim McGraw, you're like, wow, this dude is a fucking badass. It's a 1-on-6 event. That's all I'm gonna say. When you're going through Fort Worth, Texas, they don't shy away of showing you how it was back then. For example, they have this guy, instead of selling like hot dogs at a baseball game, he's selling Indian scalps. Like, shit like that. I mean, that's what it was back then. But you see that in this, and it's just like, I cannot believe that really happened back. Like, you selling Indian scalps. I cannot even believe that. And they fucking hang people straight up. And so this, no. Something happens to somebody which leads to this guy get hanged. And they do it right in the middle of daylight. It don't matter, because that's how it was back then. They dig into the difference between ox and horses. Because when you travel that far, I'm not going to say what, I'm not going to really talk about it because I'm not a fucking expert, but they dig into the difference between oxen and horses and why you should have this and why you should not have that. I really like those little things because you learn a lot in this. Alright, so when you watch the Yellowstone, you know the Dutton family is. You don't fuck with the Dutton family. They really set that tone early in 1883 where you don't fuck with the Dutton family. Not at all. And it's a great Easter egg for the Yellowstone fans. Okay, so Sam Elliott, his character Shay, and Thomas are hired to take all these Germans from Fort Worth, Texas to Oregon. That's what their job is, because he's going no matter what, and he's taking these people with him because he wants to help them. He's not selfish. So the Germans, that's also a group in this, and they don't speak any English. You have one or two people that do speak English, and it's a whole new element for them because they're mountain people, and here they are going through this great plains in the southwest of America, desert, open, complete different terrain and elements they never dealt with before. They have no horses, they have no weapons. It's how it was back then. So really what happens is James Dunn, the main guy, Tim McGraw, he brings the wagon by himself from Tennessee down Texas, and the whole family, Margaret, which is his wife, played by Faith Hill, and that's his real wife in real life. So you have James Dunn and Margaret Dunn. That's mom and dad. They have two kids, Elsa and John. Elsa's 18 and John's like 5. And then you have Claire Dunn, which I'm still confused. I gotta look this up, but she might be... Wow, I didn't know that. Claire is Claire Dutton. That is James Dunn's sister. Shit, so in episode 2, you really... Wow, that made that scene, holy shit, way different. In episode 2, there's a scene where James Dunn and Claire Dunn, which is his sister... No, they don't have sex, no Game of Thrones, but like... That caught me off guard. I thought she might have been Faith Hill's sister. No, wow. Okay, so back to what I was saying. You have James Dunn and Margaret Dunn. That's mom and dad. Elsa, she's 18, and John, 5 years old. And then there's Claire Dunn, which is Tim McGraw's sister. And Claire has a daughter, which is about 18 also. So that's their group right there. And they are all coming in on train to Fort Worth, Texas to meet Tim McGraw there. So they meet up, they get a hotel, and it ends where they are... The episode really ends at the point where I was telling you about, like, don't fuck with the Dunns. That's how the episode ends. It's like, oh. And I'm moving on to episode 2 because, damn, I just found out Claire is Tim McGraw's sister. Like, in... anyway. Sexy Monkeys, I will see you later.